Here we go. So today we're talking about area of triangles, and my fun little not so fun today is what we know and where it takes us. So we're going to use some of the things that we know already. We're going to let those things lead us to what we need to know about finding the area of triangles. We do have two new terms today. We're going to start with the base of a triangle and then the height of a triangle. The definition for the base of a triangle could be the distance across the bottom of a triangle, and the base could actually be the length of any of the sides, and that's important to note. In fact, which side of the triangle is the base has everything to do with the next term, which is the height of a triangle. Height of a triangle is the perpendicular distance from the base to the opposite vertex. That's the height. And in this triangle pictured here, the height is shown as a dashed line. You will see that from time to time when you have a triangle where the base and height, the height specifically is not actually one of the sides of the triangle. So base and height. The base is the distance across the bottom of a triangle. The base could actually be the length of any of the sides. And the height of a triangle, the perpendicular distance from the base to the opposite vertex. Those two new terms need to be recorded in the vocab section of your binder. That's the beginning. Today we're going to be looking to find a formula for the area of triangles. We're going to use what we already learned about rectangles from the previous lesson to help us come up with the formula that we're going to use for triangles. The work we're going to begin with will be counting area of rectangles and triangles drawn inside of the rectangles. We're going to begin recording our data in a table so we can try and build a formula. You should be able to find the links to both of those files on the Moodle. You should have the activity worksheet, which is the rectangles and triangles, and a copy of the table, which is the spreadsheet. We're going to use to count the area of different triangles, and we'll do the first one together. We're actually going to do at least part of a few of them together here with this video. So first we're going to start with the rectangle, and for the rectangle base, again we're counting a length here, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units. And the height also a length that must be perpendicular to the base. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units for the height of the rectangle as well. The area of the rectangle, we have a formula for that, and that's base times height. So we know 7 times 7 is 49 square units, which would be the area of the rectangle. Now, one thing that I do want to point out is that those numbers probably are familiar to you, and that's because we're looking at the same rectangles that we looked at in the previous lesson. So you can actually use the base and height and area of the rectangles from all of the previous rectangles and just fill that information in your table. That will save you some time. But the next part of what we need to do, we actually need to spend some time doing, and that's finding the base and height of the triangle and then counting the area of the triangle. So we'll start with the base, and the base still the distance across the bottom. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and again we're counting a length, not counting squares, and that was 7 units, the base of the triangle. We'll count the height, and the height must be perpendicular, so it looks like this is perpendicular to the base, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, again a length, and that's 7 units for the height. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to count the area, and when we're counting area, we need to be careful to make sure that we count exactly or as close as possible what that area is. We're going to start with the whole squares because that's going to be easier. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 whole squares. But we're also going to try and figure out how many parts of the square we have, or how many whole squares we have in the parts. When we're looking at a diagonal, it's helpful to keep in mind that opposite ends of a diagonal will be pieces that match. So this piece and the piece on the opposite end will match to make one whole. And that brings us to 22. This piece and the piece on the opposite end will match to bring us to 23. This piece, opposite end, 24. And then we've got one piece left there, so our area looks like it's going to be 24 and a half. I'm going to write that as 24 and 5/10 square units. And again, this is the process we'll go through. We'll find the base, find the height, and then count the area of each of the triangles. In some cases, it's going to be difficult, or it might be necessary to consider carefully where to count the base and height. And the real key here is to keep in mind that base and height have to be perpendicular. So if I consider this the base, and I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units, then I'm looking for a dimension that goes perpendicular to the base and connects the vertex that's opposite the base. And if we look right in the middle here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 that goes from the base to the vertex, and it's perpendicular to the base. So the base was 8, the height was 4 for triangle number 4. We'll record that data in our table in a second. Additionally, it's real important to think critically when we're counting parts of square units. And we talked a little about this with example number 1. We'll do it a little bit more with example number 7 here. And again, we're going to start with the whole squares, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. So I'm going to write down that number 5. But then parts on the opposite end of the diagonal are going to match to make another whole. So this piece and this little sliver here match up to make 6. This piece and the slightly larger sliver match up to make 7. This piece about a half and that piece about a half, so that gives us 8. This piece is a sliver, and this piece is most of the rest of it, that's 9. A little tiny sliver and a piece that's missing just a little tiny sliver brings us to 10. So the area in number 7 is 10 square units. So again, need to think critically about some of these dimensions and take the time to make sure that we get our area counts as accurate as possible when we're doing this activity. So the next thing we're going to do is fill in the information in our table. Now I'm going to start with the information that we already did, or already counted, and that was number 1. We found the rectangle base and height was 7 and 7, and then the area was 49 square units. We found the triangle base was 7 units, triangle height 7 units, and the triangle area was 24 and 5/10 square units. The example number 4, we counted the base and height. The base we found to be 8 units. The height we found to be 4 units. We didn't count the area, but that's a start there. And number 7, the only thing we found was the area, which we found to be 10 square units. So you're going to take your time and go through the triangles and rectangles in the activity worksheet or the activity PDF file. Fill in your table in the spreadsheet. Then you'll upload that spreadsheet and then watch the next video that kind of leads you through what do you think is going to be a formula we can use for finding the area of triangles. So again, happy counting, and that's it for this section of the video.